Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Becky. So, just found out, I guess it just came out. So, it's an hour and 33 minutes long. It's about a girl who spends time with her father at a lake house, but then some convicts break out of prison and I guess overtake them and make it a bad experience. Whatever happens, I don't know. So in the picture, there's some blood on her face, so it seems pretty. Might get into some gory details. Kevin James and Joel McHale. So you're thinking this is going to be funny, right? But I think Kevin James is like one of the convicts. I think he plays a serious character. I don't know. On IMDb, it's 5.7. About 1,100 people have reviewed it so far. I'm going to get into it, find out what it's really about, and give you a better idea of the synopsis. It's hard for me to see Kevin James as like a convict killer. But who knows, maybe that's not what it is. That's just what I'm getting from everything that I've seen so far, which isn't a lot. So, that's why we're here. Let me get to it. I'll be back in a little bit and tell you a little bit more about it. Stick around. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching Becky. We're at the 43-minute, 15-second mark. Hour and 33-minute film. So, the action happens right away. So Becky is a 13-year-old girl who lost her mother and is, being taken to the lake house by her dad, who's Joel McHale, by the way. And he's bringing his new girlfriend and her son out for the thing. So you can imagine how she's a little frustrated with that. And, a teenager, as she is rebellious against her father and, his new life, all that kind of stuff. So, small. That's really it. That's all you have to learn about. And then, in addition to that, what's his name? Oh man, I already forgot his name. Anyway, I'm sure I'll think of it. King of Queens. Anyway, he's in prison, and he breaks out of prison. Him and three of his buddies. Kevin James and three of his buddies break out of prison. They end up at this lake house, and they're looking for a key. So we don't know the significance of it, and somehow Becky ends up with the key. And I missed it. I didn't see that part. So if you watch this movie up until this point, how did she get the key? You don't see that. At least I didn't. I flaked on it. But as they terrorize the house, she's run away because she's mad at her dad. So she has run away from the house, and they're terrorizing the house. So she's kind of out of it while they're going through all their, what they're trying to do to them. So that's where we are so far. Like I said, there's a little bit left here. I guess about 15 minutes or what. And it's okay. Nothing special. It's very quick. Gets right into the action, which is good. You don't want to wait too long, but there's not a lot of backstory to it. Just enough for you to understand what's going on. Interesting to see Kevin James as the villain. Not a lot of comedy. And it's a little, so far, I don't know if outlandish is the way to say it, but you'll see what I mean with Kevin James and his interaction with Becky in the 40-minute mark. And then what he does after that. Without getting into too much detail, it's like, oh, okay. But that's it. That's all I got for you. There's not much more to it. That's really the dumbed down version of it. And I don't even think it's dumbed down. That's the version of it. That's it. So let me get back to it here. Like I said, we got a little bit more to go. If anything interesting happens before the credits, I'll stop in. If not, I'll see you at the end, give you my final thoughts. Stick around.
Let's just make this easy on both of us, okay?
Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Becky, and a little disappointed here. A couple of things. Start off, Kevin James is the villain. Not buying it. You see him too much as Kevin James to see him as the villain in this. It is gory. As I mentioned, there's like blood on the cover of the whole start of the movie on her face, but I mentioned that thing that Kevin James does at about the 40-minute mark. That was kind of gory. Well, it continues. Sorry, my nose is itchy. But it continues throughout the movie in drips and drabs. It's not over the top all the time, but when something happens, that's when it's like gory. So, you know, it depends on how you feel about that. It's interesting to see the transition of a 13-year-old girl from, you know, just a little troubled girl with daddy-daughter issues into a full-blown fight-for-your-life survival girl. That was kind of interesting. But it really, the movie for me is completely unresolved. I get most of it, but there's so much that they failed to unravel, I think, for me to enjoy it. So I think I might have mentioned it. If not, it's not a spoiler alert. They're looking for a key in this lake house. And that's great. That's the whole piece. But, you know, they do a poor job of setting all that up. And I don't think the movie's strong enough. Like, there's a lot of movies where there's like, hey, they're going to leave out this essential part and make it like a mystery. And, you know, the movie can carry it enough that even if they don't tell you what's going on with that one piece, that it was still a really good movie. You get lost in it all, and then it's like, oh wow, and that adds to the intrigue of the movie. That didn't work on this one for me. I didn't think the movie was strong enough to leave key pieces of the entire movie a mystery. You know, I think they could have done a lot more development on everybody. I mean, the only thing we really know, they say for the cause, he has a swastika on the back of his head. So, okay, so he's a neo-Nazi. You know, so we kind of gather that. There's no real, you know, backstory on him besides that, him breaking out of prison, what happens in prison once, whatever, and he's got the swastika. We don't know anything about the key. Why is it at the lake house? How did they know it was at the lake house? None of this. So, and I had to actually go back and find, I had to rewind and look at certain parts of it. How does the key become into the movie? Because I missed it the first time. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I'm going into a lot more details than I normally do on a movie. But that's okay. I didn't spoil anything for you. You still want to, if you're still interested in checking it out, go ahead. If you like gory kind of movies and you want to see Kevin James as a villain, you might be interested in this. But set your expectations pretty low, at least in my eyes. I think there's some there. I think there's some pieces, and that's putting the gore aside. Let's just put that aside, because it's not, the movie itself doesn't set it up like a slasher film, but yet they try that. So I'm gonna wipe that out and say, okay, even if that wasn't in there, because I don't think it's placed well in this movie. Just me. I don't mind gore every now and again if it's done right. I don't think it was done right here. I don't think it was necessary. I think it was for more shock effect. But we put that aside and just say, okay, look at the rest of the movie. And I think they got an interesting concept. You know, it's a little bit new, a little creative, but I think it could have been developed more. And you could still, you know, do what you want to do with the ending. You know, whatever that may be. You could still go the direction they did, but I think there's got to be a lot more setup to make you be like, oh, wow, that's neat. Like, now I'm like, oh, whatever. I still don't care. That's how I felt coming out of this. So, there you have it. I did like the other, you know, he has there's four of them, him and three other guys. Two of the guys are whatever, but they're one muscle guy. He was kind of neat. I expect to see him in a couple more films, I think. Plays a pretty good, like, villain, but he wouldn't be a main villain. He's just kind of one of the gang kind of villain guys. You'll see what I mean when you check it out. Okay, I think I've talked enough about this. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I could pick out more things on this that I really didn't like, but I'll let you go ahead and do that unless I'll save you some time. I know there's not much else out there, and you probably want to see it, but if you do have to watch it, set your expectations low. And if you don't have to watch it, maybe there's some other things out on your list. Check out some of my other movie reviews. Maybe you'll find something else that you'll like a little bit more, and go with that over this. That's just for me. Alright, that's just from whatever. That's it. I'm rambling on, and I just said I was going to stop. So, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And like I said, check out some of my other movie reviews that might help you avoid this one. And if you want to hit the like, you can. More importantly, tell all your friends and continue to come back to Kimmel's Irish Pub.